Welcome to the exciting rebirth of Superstar, featuring choose your membership rate as low as just $3 a month. At Superstar, you get expanded, exclusive videoscopes each and every week, unlimited access to special horoscopes, class passes for Synchronicity University, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space. I look forward to meeting you there. Hello, fabulous friends, fans, and superstars. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of January 24, 2021. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. And so a quick note, once again, you guys loved it so much. You loved seeing the sunset last week, so I will share it with you again. Keep in mind there might be a little bit of background noise, and also that the lighting is going to change as we go along. But I'm so glad that this view has been so important and healing to so many of you out there. And so this week features the most lucky day of the year, right? The luckiest day of the year. And that takes place right around Friday. But before we get there, we are going to start the week on an energy that sometimes stands in contrast to the luckiest day of the year. And that is because it is the most honest day of the year, the most real day of the year. At the end of the week, we have the sun meeting Jupiter in the sky. This is about hope and opportunity and expansion and possibility and excitement and enthusiasm. And there will be every reason to feel hope and possibility as we navigate into the last days of the week. However, it is going to be right out of the gate at the very beginning of the week that we have got the energy of the sun meeting Saturn. Now, both of these connections, right, with these three different planets are going to be taking place in the sign of Aquarius. And Aquarius has to do with a few different things. It connects us to the collective. It's very humanitarian. It's progressive. It has to do with considering our part and our place in relation to others, in some cases, many others, the larger community. And this energy can also be very aspirational, very filled with possibility. It is erratic, yes. It is revolutionary, but it is also an energy that asks us to focus in on change that matters. Focus in on change that correlates to tangible outcomes. Not just our hopes and wishes, but to consider also what we are manifesting in the process. This is an energy of ideas, of brilliance, of genius, and new ideas that can really change the world. And that really is key here. The inventions, the ideas, the new and the next that change the world. And so on the one hand, we do have Saturn meeting the sun at the very beginning of the week. And as these planets meet, it is going to be a moment of truth, a moment of realization. All of us in at least one area of life are going to find this moment to be grounding. Now, for some, it is a moment of a decision, of a choice. And the groundedness brings with it self-awareness and self-respect. But for others out there, it may not be the case that it feels necessarily grounding as it does a difficult choice or a difficult moment that you have to accept. The thing with Saturn is Saturn always says, do your best and surrender the rest. With the Aquarian energy, it has to do with be the change you wish to see in the world, to own it, to embody it. Now, are you actually living up to that ideal or not in your own life? That may be part of the moment of truth that many of us find ourselves in now. Now, it's also possible with this that there are new ideas that are presented, because Saturn in Aquarius can be very scientific. So these could be new scientific ideas that we may have to address or look at in some way. But here's the thing. This is a turning point. This is understanding what stays and what goes. This is understanding what's worth the sacrifice and maybe what no longer is. All of us in at least one area of life are reaching a moment of decision, reaching a moment of choice, reaching a moment of truth. And from that place of truth, of self-knowledge, of self-knowing, then you'll be able to find that turning point that allows you to move towards the big blessings later in the week. Now, some of this truth, this heavy energy, may also come about through surprise. Now, the reason I say this is because right around Tuesday, the sun will speak in a conversation of tension with the Uranus. I know last week we had the most surprising day of the year, but this energy of the sun and Uranus can bring surprises in and of itself. But I feel like this energy is going to kind of work together with Saturn meeting the sun, because we are moving towards the first exact connection in mid-February between Saturn and Uranus. So in some ways, the sun is going to bring a precursor. What is that going to mean for you? But also, what is it going to mean for the collective? Where is it that there are people who desire meaningful structural change? And where is it that there is a desire for greater freedom or greater autonomy? Now, more personally, this energy can bring with it a very surprise insight or truth or understanding or a series of events that is very unexpected, but ultimately lends itself to that moment of honesty, that moment of realization, that moment of groundedness that is so needed. With Saturn, we understand that in some ways, and at least one part of our human experience is finite. Our physical selves are finite. There's something within us that, of course, is infinite, that is limitless, that I believe has been here before and will continue to be, whether here is right here or here is in a larger sense, that has existed, that has lived, that has known love, that has known wisdom. That part of us that is eternal. But this incarnation, this specific incarnation, is meant to be finite. We gather and garner as many experiences as possible, whether those experiences lead us inward toward our own spiritual realizations, emotional realizations, or those experiences take us in different directions towards outer experiences, outer adventures. Regardless, this time in this body is going to be finite, and it is Saturn that reminds us of that. It is Jupiter that says, but we're infinite, but we are expansive and we are limitless, and it'll just always be, and it always can be. And that's exciting in and of itself. Now, I do feel like we may see scientific breakthroughs under this sky. For some, there may be some mixed feelings around these scientific breakthroughs. For others, it may feel like early in the week, as we accept things as they are, it isn't easy, and yet we get to that energy at the end of the week, and the groundedness, the decision that we found early in the week will give way to something new, something next, and something truly exciting, something truly hopeful that we've been looking forward to. Now, of course, this week we've also got a full moon, a powerful full moon at that. This is a full moon in the sign of Leo. This full moon will be happening across the sky from Jupiter, speaking in tension with Uranus, setting up that T-square. And that's a little bit challenging right there. On the one hand, the energy of Leo is very heart-oriented. It's much more self-oriented. Aquarius is about the collective. It's about others. It's very humanitarian. It is the opposite of self. It is an energy that asks us not to just look at one person, not to just rely on one person, or even that we don't just have to rely on ourselves, but to think about the larger impact, the larger footprint to our actions and to the decisions that we make. And then here's this Leo energy saying, but I matter, and here's my heart, and this is who I am, and this is what I want. And that expression might be quite interesting. It might be quite dramatic as well, the expression of self. But of course, Leo can also be an energy that is very courageous. And so we may see profiles in courage playing out on some level, and we may have examples of that, that come up very spontaneously, very surprise moments. Now, this is also the energy of celebrity. So it's very possible now that some celebrity makes the news for very unexpected, shocking behavior that really seems to stand out in some way that seems larger than life under a sky like this. Now, we still have other big things happening this week as well. Under the light of the Jupiter-Sun conjunction, Mercury is going to go retrograde. And I am actually very hopeful about this Mercury retrograde. Like, okay, first, let me talk about the things that aren't so great about the Mercury retrograde. It's in Aquarius, not the time to invest in technology or to purchase technological products if you can help it. If you've got repairs that need to happen or replacements, this can be great for that, but not for something brand new. If any new technological products are announced, especially during this retrograde, I would really consider not being an early adopter under this sky. However, this energy can be great for a relaunch or giving a product or a technology another try. And so yes, Mercury is going retrograde, and the general principles do apply. It's a good time not to do anything brand new, anything with a re, as it's often said. Reuse, recycle, repair. These are the types of things that people say are a good idea with a Mercury retrograde. But there's another layer to this. This is in the sign of Aquarius. It has to do with understanding our connection to each other. It has to do with understanding what is truly humanitarian, what is a humanitarian endeavor. What does meaningful progress look like and what isn't, right? How do we navigate that? I think that these are going to be topics that more and more of us will be talking about. The great thing is, though, as part of this Mercury retrograde season, Mercury is dancing with Jupiter. Back in mid-January, Mercury met Jupiter, will again in mid-February, and for a third and final time in early March. I'll be here to talk about it every step of the way, but what this tells me is opportunities that we thought were lost may come back around. They may be even better than what we thought they would be before. Where it was that we had hope, but then it didn't really pan out, now it may. And because this is the energy of friendship, whether that's universal friendship, humanitarian friendship, world friendship, or more personal, our friends, I think a lot of us are going to be finding ourselves having spontaneous, surprise reconnections and reunions of some kind that feel especially meaningful to us. So that's the Mercury retrograde. But we've got another energy. See, it's a big week. There's a whole lot going on here. The other big energy that I want to talk about is Venus and Pluto. Venus and Pluto are going to meet in the sign of Capricorn. And they do meet typically once a year. However, this is a little bit different. As we navigate to the end of this year, we are going to have a Venus retrograde season, and Pluto is going to be intimately involved in that. Oh boy, Venus is going to go retrograde before the year is over while hanging out with Pluto. So this is the time to pay attention. In some ways, what transpires now, this week, is going to be a little bit of an insight, a little bit of a foreshadowing as to what is coming ahead in that very consequential Venus retrograde season towards the end of the year. I did speak about this, I did touch on it mostly in the year ahead horoscope for most signs out there, but there will be a separate Venus retrograde special. So be on the lookout for that, but it's not coming out anytime soon once we navigate later into the year. But just know that this is when you want to pay attention, because in many ways, what transpires now is not just a foreshadowing, but it's letting you know where heart-related, love-related themes are asking for a depth of honesty, are asking to be addressed, where complicated feelings, sometimes really complex feelings, are striving to be understood or surrendered. But mostly with Pluto, it's about control. And the truth is, we have no control over anybody else. Any control we think we have is an illusion. People will do all kinds of things for all kinds of reasons that have nothing to do with us, that are based on their interpretations, their experiences, their desires, their wants. And it may seem like it has something to do with us on the surface, but it really doesn't. And so there's something very liberating about that, because then we don't take things as personally. But of course, that doesn't mean that feelings can't be strong. And sometimes it can feel like there's a very strong pull, almost fated pull in a particular direction. Especially with energy like this, it may feel as if there are powerful attractions that are not a good idea. It can feel as if there are turning points that are rooted in honesty, seeing things as they are, getting to the core of a matter, seeing what's working and really what isn't, what needs a solution and what doesn't. That depth of honesty with self, can sometimes be painful, but very necessary, because ultimately it is that honesty that does expand the heart and prepares us for greater love than we knew before. What I love about this week for us, well, look, it is a powerful astrological time without a doubt. The sun is essentially going to activate the great conjunction of the winter solstice way back in December 21st, 2020. Over the course of this week, as the sun first connects with Saturn, and then late in the week connects with Jupiter, it is as if the sun is creating a bridge. Now you add to this, of course, another layer, the fact that we're going to have Uranus intimately involved in all of this. Uranus giving an early indication, early activation of next month's, of February's, square between Saturn and Uranus as well. And so I do think that with a week like this, we are going to see the range of human experience, and important human experiences at that. Our desire for structure, our desire for control, our desire for honesty, our desire to honor the physical experience of life, the incarnation that is life. And at the same time, these wild card factors, these new considerations, new information that we may have to take a moment to understand, but can lend themselves to great hope, great possibility, great breakthroughs as well. What I'm most excited about, though, is that all of this is happening in the sign of Aquarius, and Aquarius is a sign of the future. Uranus is the planet of the future, and whether we embrace it, whether we resist it, whether we hate it, whether we love it, the future is always there, and it always arrives. A week like this may show us incredible visions of what is possible, the future that we are moving towards. It can show us scientific breakthroughs as well, but it can also invite us to consider what a more interconnected, or at least the awareness of our interconnection to each other, right? Digital and literal. What might that look like? What might it be if we understand ourselves as part of the larger whole? How is it that one person having that appreciation actually brings love and healing to so many others? And where is it now that we are ready to welcome in some new ideas about the world, about what's possible, about what it means to be human, and so much more? Well, all of that is on offer now. And I would invite you, wherever it is that you are considering and contemplating change, especially those quick changes that free you and invite you to bring forward a more rebellious and novel spirit that you like about yourself. It will be a week like this that invites you to consider the advantages and to embrace the possibilities. Well, thank you so much for watching. What do you love about this week? Let me know in the comments below. I love reading you guys. And to prove it to you, here are some of my recent favorites. Thank you so much to everybody who comments, who subscribes, who shares, who likes, who thumbs up. However it is that you interact with and engage these videos, I appreciate it so very much. Now, of course, if you want to know how all these very big astrological transits this week speak to you and your sign, log on to NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. There you can see the all-new, revamped, re-envisioned Superstar space. It's super easy to navigate. It's so much fun, and it is as low as just $3 a month. So just $3 a month gets you unlimited access to all the signs for the weekly horoscopes, and then you can get higher tiers where you get consultations with me, and you get Synchronicity University class passes, and so much more. So I hope that you'll check it out. As low as just $3 a month with choose your membership rate. Link is in the description below, or go to NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. And I want to tell you about a very exciting, free, completely free online event that is set to take place on Monday. And it is such a privilege, and it's so exciting to share this with you now. I have been asked to participate in an Instagram takeover of a very well-known Canadian brand called Joe Fresh. Now, if you're not familiar with Joe Fresh is like the H&M of Canada. Like, that's how big a deal they are. And they are just such a part of Canadian mass culture. And so the fact that they are doing Self-Care Mondays, which is exciting in and of itself. So the fact that they invited me to participate is quite remarkable for a few reasons. One is that we don't normally see astrology in these types of mass cultural places and spaces. Astrology is, at least in the current context, very new to these spaces, and we get these very rare windows where we get to connect with these very big and major companies and brands. It is much more common to connect with people who are doing something similar to what we're doing, but then to actually be invited into a space where astrology normally is not really welcome or really known is a very different thing, especially at this mass cultural level. And so on the one hand, I'm really nervous, but also I'm really excited, and I feel very grateful. I feel very aware of the steward that I am for astrology, and that the universe has asked me to be somebody who would go into these spaces, not just to teach and to discuss astrology among us, which is, of course, incredible students of astrology who find me and others online, but to actually go into a space where perhaps they haven't known astrology before, astrology hasn't been presented before, and especially in this context of self-care, well, it is a very, very big deal just for what that represents, but also for me as well, to be a steward and an ambassador, to be trusted with this opportunity from the universe. Personally, I feel like it is wonderful, and I'm humbled and so grateful for it. And so I'm telling you about this because I would love it if you could join. On the one hand, more personally, I would love to see some familiar names or to use the support. And I know that Joe Fresh would really appreciate to know that they have more followers and they have people engaging with the content as well. I don't know what the reaction is going to be to my Instagram Live, but I am choosing to trust, and I'm choosing to be present. And if you would like to join, you would be very, very welcome. And I would send you very big virtual hugs for that. So I am going to link to Joe Fresh below. So what you're going to do is you're going to follow Joe Fresh on Instagram. And then at noon Eastern time on Monday, that is when I will go live. And I will be teaching a class or doing a talk that is about 20 minutes, maybe a little more. If you've taken a class with me, you know I tend to talk and keep going. But it is going to be rooted in understanding astrology and its connection to self-care. And so I'm going to start off by talking about my own journey towards astrology and how astrology helped me to move through some very difficult times, and how that ended up leading to my full-time career as an astrologer. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each and every sign, and I'm going to talk about what the different signs need for self-care, what types of behaviors, what types of understandings. So I haven't presented this type of information ever before, certainly haven't on this big a stage ever before. So you would be very, very welcome to join us. And I hope that you will. You'll get to learn something, you'll get to have fun, we'll get to hang out, and also hopefully you'll also get to really affirm astrology in these spaces that it isn't necessarily as familiar with, at least just yet. So I hope that you will join me. Again, I will link to the Joe Fresh page below. Just follow them and then go on Instagram at some point just before 12 Eastern time on Monday, and you'll get the notification when I'm starting, and you can join me live, and I look forward to seeing you there. Synchronicity University. I have very big announcements coming up very, very soon, perhaps by the time that this video publishes, but please do be on the lookout for that in your newsletters and on my social media pages. You'll find my social media pages below. But for now, what I will say is that there's just 1 week left to join the incredible, the one and only Michael Barwick for his class, Celestial Superpowers, Fixed Stars in Natal Astrology. And if you want to join for as low as just $5 a class, if you'd like to choose your own tuition rate, you can sign up now and do that for just another week. So that's just 1 week to go to choose your tuition rate for the incredible Michael Barwick and his class. And you can link to that below, but basically Michael, over the course of 5 weeks, is going to go through different placements of fixed stars, is going to go through each of the signs. Altogether, we are going to cover 28 fixed stars and look at how to interpret those fixed stars in the context of natal astrology, natal chart astrology. I'm looking forward to learning so much. There's nearly not enough information out there about fixed stars in astrology. So I think that Michael really is making a very special contribution. And I look forward to seeing you in class. Link in the description below, or go to synchronicityuniversity.com. My own classes with the winter session are well underway. Coming up next week, I am going to be teaching a class on the 8th house called Money, Power, Respect. It's the first part of 3 classes we're going to have on the 8th house in total over the course of the coming weeks and months. But it is this class that I think is going to be so insightful. If you have any kind of 8th house placements or are going through an 8th house transit, I think this energy is going to be incredibly valuable to understand. And we're going to start with signs on the cusp of the 8th house and understanding the 8th house and its importance with some depth. So I hope that you will join us. In the week after, we're going to do astrology and the chakras. So links in the description below. You can sign up for individual classes that I've already taught. They're already available for individual purchase at synchronicityuniversity.com. And our January speaker series is underway as well. We've got 2 more speakers coming up. This week, there won't be a class, but the following week, we are going to have the amazing Patricia Walsh, widely recognized expert in evolutionary astrology. She's going to be talking about Pluto generations and what that says about understanding yourself and the generation that you belong to. And then the week after, we are going to celebrate Tibetan New Year's Eve with the one and only, the legend, Michael Lutin. Michael Lutin is an award-winning and absolutely brilliant astrologer. I feel so lucky to have him join us with the speaker series. And he's going to be talking about awakening and healing, and it's going to be an incredible experience to go on with him. And I'm really looking forward to it as well. So again, synchronicityuniversity.com. Links are in the description below. Did you see my incredible conversation with the one and only Ophi of the iconic AstroTwins? Ophi is absolutely amazing. I spoke to her like a year ago, and now here we are again. And we talk about all kinds of really big celestial events taking place in the first quarter of 2021. And that includes what I call the luckiest day of the year taking place this week, but she calls it the Day of Miracles. And why that is, she's going to be talking about that and so much more. We really have this lively and wonderful discussion, and she's just incredible. She's brilliant. She's beautiful. She knows so much. She and her sister have had such a cultural impact. I mean, talk about cultural impacts. These women really have been in spaces and places that astrology really doesn't always get a chance to go. And so they have been such an inspiration to me. So now to work with them and to have this amazing partnership with them is truly very exciting. And yes, that partnership is still going on. The AstroTwins have extended it, which is really very nice of them. And so what happens is you go to the link in the description below. You are going to go onto the page, and you will see that you get all kinds of wonderful classes, and you get their 2021 book and so much more at a huge discount, something like 65 or 70% off. And so you're going to get 5 classes from me, my astrology magic classes. You're going to get a couple of tarot classes as well, tarot for astrologers, and then you're going to get their masterclass. So it's a download. It was a ticket, but now it's a download to their 2021 masterclass, and you're going to get a copy of their book on 2021 that's so detailed. It is this reference copy that so many people love. And so you can click on the link in the description below and get a whole lot more details about my amazing partnership with the incredible and the iconic AstroTwins. And finally, you can get my take on your unique birth chart by logging on to link in the description below by checking out my incredible partnership with Cosmogram. Now, Cosmogram really is a very special company based in Europe, and I provided them with the info that they needed, the explanations. I did a whole lot of work putting together all the possible combinations that can happen in a natal chart with the planets, and they put it in their software, and now you can enter your birth data and within a few hours get the PDF copy to my explanation of your unique birth chart. If you go onto the Cosmogram site, they actually have a sample there, so you can see exactly what it is that you're going to get, and you can learn more about exactly what it is that I look at and so much more on their website. So I hope that you will check it out, and thank you so much to everybody who has checked it out, who's loved it. It means so much to me. Thank you. So again, link is in the description below. And thank you. I really hope that you will join me with Joe Fresh. This is really very exciting. For me, it feels like a high point. It feels very special, but also it is one of these moments where I feel that astrology gets to be in new spaces and new places, and that is exciting in and of itself. Anytime that there is an astrologer that gets to do that, which doesn't happen too often, but when it does, I celebrate it. And so it feels kind of amazing that now it is me that is going to be participating in something like that as well. So I hope that you will come, that you will join live, that you will celebrate with me. It is an Instagram live, so it doesn't cost you anything. You just need your Instagram account and to be online at that time to join me live. Or of course, you can watch it at IGTV as well. Thank you again for watching. I will see you online on Monday, I hope. And I'm truly so grateful for your love, your support, your encouragement, all the ways in which you, my friends, fans, superstars, students, have shown up for me, have been there for me. It really has meant so much. Thank you. Okay. And it'll be a great week. Enjoy.